Hello friends, it's Terry with Terry's Mailbox, and our challenge for the Funky Junkie Boutique this time was It's Cold Outside. I decided to focus this video on using some of the Ranger Tim Holtz paste, Crackle paste, glitter, other products. So the first thing I did, this is a 6 by 8 inch canvas, and so what I've done is I'm putting white gesso on it to give it some tooth so that other things will stick to it. So again, just pasting the white gesso on here, and I'll set it aside to dry. Second thing I did was I applied translucent Crackle paste to it. And again, I might have put it on a little bit heavy because I've got these ginormous cracks in it, but I kind of like this. This is something a little bit different. Next thing I did was I pulled out some distressed paints. So I've got Blueprint Sketch, Evergreen Bough, and Salvaged Patina. And actually, I think it might be Stormy Sky. But again, I'm using these different inks and paints to coat the Crackle portion of the panel. So again, notice that I'm not going near the bottom because I'm going to add snow on there. And this technique was, I found this on the Ink Layers by Anna Corinne, and just loved the way this looks. So I had to mimic it. So after I got the paint on there, I ended up just adding more water. It's important to get the paint down inside the cracks. So again, I'm just kind of playing with it and spritzing it, and decided to pull out my heat tool and try to dry it just a little bit to get it started. And then of course I'm going to set it aside and let it dry again. So just here I am, just kind of heating it up. So I had so much fun playing with these things. I bought every one recently, and they've sat in a drawer in my craft room. So I finally decided it was time to do something. So now I'm pulling out the sparkle paste. This is Tim Holtz's, again, translucent sparkle paste. So it's got little silver glitter pieces in it. And again, I'm pulling that palette knife and just kind of spreading it over that top part, just to give it a little more shine, a little bit of sparkle. Just too much fun with this one. So we'll just kind of spread it on, but you can see here that I'm focusing more on the background and kind of the base for this decor piece. So again, just spreading it out here, and again, it has to dry for a while. The next thing I did is I pulled the pieces of cardstock, and these actually were from my spray box, so they're kind of leftover mica stains on black cardstock, but I thought, oh, they would look really nice as little houses as part of my scene. So again, this is part of the Christmas cutouts. I cut all the houses out, and again, I cut out a couple of layers, and then I also ended up attaching them to white cardstock. Next thing I did is I pulled out the Trimetry Colorize. I love this thing, and I didn't get a chance to really use it for cards this year, but I decided to use it for this particular display piece. So I cut out multiple layers and things, and the cool thing about this tree is that you can actually trim the bottom layer or the bottom and the next layer off to make your trees a little bit shorter. So all I'm doing now is just kind of gluing them on there and then making sure that some of the branches have the ability to pop up. So I'm just using a white glue here. So again, we're just gonna make sure that top part is completely lined up, and that we'll continue to attach all of the different layers of the tree. I thought these were really cool. And again, I made 3 trees, so I did 3 medium-sized ones and one smaller tree. So again, just still working. You can see here's where I'm trimming it a little bit. This was just a really good option. This actually is the smallest tree, as you can see, that I'm working on. So again, just attaching the layers, layer by layer. So I can't wait to try this again and use some colors, try to do something a little bit different with them. So I thought this snowy scene I was real happy with the way the snowy scene turned out. So you can see there are the trees. Here is the largest tree, so you can see how big this thing is. This really would cover an A2 card. Next thing I decided to do was go ahead and attach those. This is a double layered houses, but I wanted them to be a little bit thicker and have white in the windows. So I attached it to just white cougar cardstock. So again, I'm just gluing it on. And then I'll throw an acrylic block on the top just to help it adhere well. And then I ended up fussy cutting them out. So these are the snowflake dies, and these actually come from the Twig and Stump Die, which that's what the snowman is made out of up there. And I decided to, again, use that sparkle paste to see if I could get a sparkle base to cut snowflakes out of. So what I'm doing here is I'm just pulling the palette knife and just pulling a really thin layer. And so I will point out that the snowman is actually, he is cut out of the Woodgrain cardstock to give him some texture. And again, I had him in my stash. I tend to do multiple die cuts once I'm going. So now what I'm doing is I'm pulling again the Snowfall grit, and I'm adding it onto the edges of the branches there. So you can see here I'm going to hit all the branches. You can see I've got it on the top roof of the trees. And then the next thing I did is I poured a little rock candy glitter onto a piece of paper, and I just kind of dipped and pushed the rock candy glitter into the Snowfall grit, because again it made it sparkly and looking like snow. So again, we'll go ahead and just kind of keep hitting my branches here, making sure even the ones in the middle have some Snowfall grit paste on them. So I'm just kind of using my palette knife, sometimes throwing it on the craft mat so I can pick up smaller amounts. And then I also added it to the base of that panel to look like snow. So I could have added rock candy glitter there, but I didn't. So now I've got that piece of the texture paste here, the sparkle texture paste, that I am die cutting a bunch of snowflakes out of to use on the background of the panel. And you can also see I've got letters there. I decided to do Let It Snow, and I used one of Tim Holtz's 1-inch alphabet dies to do that. And I cut it out twice and I glued them together. So right now I'm using Collage Medium just to design the panel and to add the pieces to it. So again, I wanted to put 2 trees on one side and the third tree on the opposite side of the panel. And I'm going to leave them hanging off like that. It's going to take me a little while to get them packed, but hey, if I can have the extra dimension and texture here, I'm all about that. So I decided to add the letters kind of in an arch at the top center of the panel. I thought that would look really nice. So again, just still kind of working here. Just adding the Collage Medium and just pushing it down. Again, it was interesting getting these things to stick on, some of the background because it was textured. And, the houses were a real challenge just because of the depth of the snow that I have at the bottom. So again, I'm just still working on the letters. When you do die cuts, do you cut out multiples and save them? I have all kinds of Santas from years past and this current year Santa greeting that I've cut multiples out of. So again, I hoard them and I keep them, and at some point I decide to pull them out and use them. So again, just kind of pushing there. I decided that top of that tree was not cooperating, so I grabbed a little clip and put it on there to make sure that that was adhered at the top. So here I am just adding the houses. And you might have noticed the back of that one house had coloring on it. Well, I reused my cardstock again. Cardstock's got 2 sides. I hang on to it, and if I need it for a background or something, I use it. So here's my, here's that snowman. That's the the Stump Snowman from the Twig and Stump, and I'm just adding foam tape to the back of it because I wanted him to be popped up just a little bit, but I wasn't gonna trust the foam tape, so I pulled my Collage Medium out because I'm working on so many different surfaces. I've got the Crackle at the top, I've got the snow at the bottom. So again, just kind of trying to pop my snowman up here a little bit. So I'm really liking the way this is turning out so far. So the next thing I did was I pulled out all of those snowflakes and just kind of randomly place them on the background. And then the last thing I got to do is to just attach all of those cute little snowflakes. So I'm just adding, not even doing the whole thing, just really kind of hitting the center of the snowflakes to be sure that I get good adherence. So again, just gluing away, just taking my time and gluing away here. I'm pleased with the way this one turned out, and I'm excited for 2024 with my Tim Holtz makes for the Funky Junky Boutique. So you ought to check it out. They've got a great selection. They send you a cute little envelope with little gifts and extra little cards and just doodads and, you know, things that come in the package. There's just kind of a little ephemera extra that they send as a thank you that I always enjoy opening up. So again, I'm just kind of working here and I'm almost done getting all the snowflakes on. So again, it's Terry with Terry's Mailbox, and I would love it if you would come and be one of my subscribers on YouTube. I'm also on Instagram, Facebook, and Blogger, and I just have too much fun and love to share with you. Have a great day.